Think about your phone contacts right now. Hundreds of names, maybe thousands. You call almost none of them. But the real answer to why is far stranger than you think. It has nothing to do with your phone. It has everything to do with your brain and a number that has followed your species for 200,000 years. That number is 150. Not 100, not 200. Somewhere around 150. And your ancestors built their entire world around it. Here is where it starts. In the 1990s, a British anthropologist named Robin Dunbar was studying primates, not humans, monkeys, and apes. He noticed something odd. The bigger a primate's brain, specifically a region called the neocortex, the bigger its social group tended to be. Grooming, squabbling, remembering who owed who a favor. Bigger brains meant bigger circles of relationships to track. Then Dunbar did something simple. He plugged human brain size into the same formula. The number that came out was 150. Not a group you casually recognize. A group you could call a real relationship. People whose names you know. People whose family situations you understand. People you would help if they needed it, and who would help you back. Beyond that number, Dunbar argued, your brain simply runs out of room. You can recognize more faces. You can remember more names. But you cannot hold that many people in genuine social context at once. Why would this matter to someone living 40,000 years ago? Because survival back then was never really about strength. It was about cooperation. A single human, alone on the savannah, was slow, weak, and easy to kill. A group of humans who trusted each other, who shared food, who warned each other about danger, who remembered which neighboring band had helped them last winter. That group survived. Cooperation was the actual weapon. And cooperation requires memory. You have to remember who is trustworthy, who cheated last time, who is family, and who is a stranger passing through. Anthropologists studying modern hunter-gatherer societies, including work by researchers such as Kim Hill, have found something remarkable. Hunter-gatherer bands themselves are usually small, maybe 30 to 50 people, but those bands are nested inside something larger, a network of related bands who share language, ritual, and marriage ties. When you add it up, tribe to tribe, that entire connected community lands right around 150 people. That is not a coincidence. That is your species' natural unit of trust. Here is where it gets stranger. This number did not disappear when farming began. It did not disappear when cities rose. It hid inside almost every human institution since. Consider the Roman army. Their basic fighting unit, the century, was on paper 100 men, but with officers and support. Functionally closer to that same range, humans seem to organize around naturally. Consider religious communities like the Hutterites, a group that has lived in small agricultural colonies for centuries. They have an internal rule. Once a colony's population creeps past 150, they split it in two. Not because of food, not because of land, because they have found, generation after generation, that above that number, people stop cooperating as freely. Cliques form. Free riders appear. Trust erodes. Even modern companies have stumbled onto this without knowing the science behind it. The manufacturing company Gore-Tex famously discovered that their factories became less efficient once headcount passed roughly 150 employees. So they built new buildings, split the teams, kept every group under that threshold. Productivity went back up. They didn't hire an anthropologist to explain it to them. They just noticed something break and fixed it the same way an Ice Age tribe would have. They split the group. So what actually happens inside your head at 150? Picture your attention as a kind of budget. A fixed amount of social currency you spend every day. Below 150 people, you can spend that currency meaningfully. You remember birthdays. You notice when someone seems off. You know their history well enough to guess how they'll react to bad news. Above that number, the currency runs thin. You start recognizing faces without remembering the story behind them. You know a name without knowing the person. This is why you feel a strange kind of exhaustion at a party of 300 strangers, but not at a dinner with 12 old friends. Your brain is not tired from talking. It is tired from trying to file every new face into a system that was never built to hold that many drawers. Here is the twist most people miss entirely. people miss. So crying is not only communication, it is regulation, a built-in mechanism for draining the exact chemicals that flood your system during overwhelm. This is why people often say they feel lighter after crying, even when nothing about their situation has changed. Nothing external improved. The problem is still there. But something internal has been cleared out, like a valve releasing pressure that had nowhere else to go. Now here is the part that reframes everything. Modern life almost never allows this ancient system to function the way it was built to. You cry in bathroom stalls. You cry with the shower running so no one hears. You cry in cars in parking lots, engine off, both hands on the wheel. The ancient signal still fires, but the audience it was built for is gone. No tribe circles around you. No one rushes over. Ask yourself something. What did it cost your ancestors to let themselves be seen crying? Very little, because they were surrounded by people whose survival depended on caring for one another. What does it cost you? Often everything. Professional standing, perceived competence, the appearance of control, so you learn to suppress it. You blink hard. You look at the ceiling. You excuse yourself to the restroom. You override again and again a system that took hundreds of thousands of years to build. This is not a small thing. Suppressing crying repeatedly does not make the underlying stress disappear. Research on emotional suppression, including studies referenced by psychologist James Gross at Stanford, has shown that chronic suppression of emotional expression is linked to increased physiological stress responses over time. The body still registers the distress. It simply denies itself the ancient release valve designed to process it. The pressure has to go somewhere. Often it resurfaces as tension, irritability, or a kind of low hum of exhaustion that never fully lifts. There is something almost tragic in that. A system built over hundreds of thousands of years, refined by survival itself, and now increasingly treated as an inconvenience to be managed and hidden. Somewhere between a savanna landscape and a fluorescent-lit office, crying stopped being a signal that summoned help and became a symptom to be embarrassed about. But your body never got that memo. It still runs the old program. It still tries to send the old signal every single time. So the next time it happens, the tightening throat, the sudden blur of vision, the tears that arrive faster than any explanation for them, remember what is actually happening underneath. That is not weakness leaking out. That is hundreds of thousands of years of biology attempting to do exactly what it was built to do. Reach someone, release something, survive one more day by asking, without a single word, for the group to come closer. You are not crying for no reason. You are crying for